Have you ever walked away from an argument feeling drained, frustrated, or even regretful about the way things played out? You're not alone. Conflicts are a natural part of life, but how we handle them makes all the difference. The good news: you don't have to let arguments control your emotions. In today's video, we're diving into the world of Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that offers timeless wisdom on how to navigate disagreements with clarity, composure, and purpose. Imagine a life where arguments don't leave you feeling anxious or upset, where you can approach conflicts with calm, confidence, and logic instead of frustration. That's exactly what Stoicism can help you achieve. So why does this matter? Well, arguments happen everywhere, in our friendships, at work, even within our families. And too often, they spiral out of control, turning into heated exchanges that damage relationships. But what if you could flip the script and handle disagreements in a way that strengthens your connections instead of breaking them? In this video, I'll show you how Stoic principles can help you. White heavy checkmark: stay calm and collected, even when emotions run high. White heavy checkmark: avoid saying things you'll regret later. White heavy checkmark: focus on solutions instead of winning the argument. White heavy checkmark: communicate effectively, so your words create clarity, not chaos. By applying these techniques, you'll not only resolve conflicts better, but also develop emotional resilience, a skill that will serve you in every aspect of life. If that sounds like something you'd love to master, hit the like button to help spread this message. And if Stoic wisdom is something you want more of, subscribe to Stoic Share for weekly insights that can transform the way you think and live. Let's get started and explore how you can handle conflicts the Stoic way, with wisdom, patience, and control. Number 1. The power of staying calm, a Stoic approach to conflict resolution. Have you ever found yourself in the middle of an argument, emotions running high, words flying back and forth, only to realize afterward that you said things you didn't mean or acted in a way that made the situation worse? We've all been there. In the heat of the moment, frustration, anger, and the desire to win can take over, clouding our ability to think clearly. But here's the thing: reacting emotionally often leads to regret. The Stoic philosophy offers a powerful antidote to this cycle: staying calm. Stoicism teaches us that maintaining emotional stability in difficult moments is the key to making wise decisions and fostering positive interactions. The moment we lose control of our emotions, we surrender our ability to think rationally, and that's exactly when arguments spiral out of control. The Stoics believe that true strength lies not in overpowering others, but in mastering yourself. The role of emotional control in Stoicism. One of the fundamental Stoic principles is understanding what we can and cannot control. Think about it: can you control how someone reacts to your words? No. Can you control whether another person agrees with you? Again, no. But what can you control? Your own response. Your tone. Your ability to stay composed. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most famous Stoic philosophers, once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. This is the cornerstone of how Stoics approach conflict. Instead of letting external circumstances dictate their emotions, they train themselves to remain level-headed, making decisions based on logic rather than impulsiveness. Imagine two people in a heated debate. One is shouting, frustrated, waving their arms aggressively, while the other remains calm, focused, and speaks in a measured tone. Who do you think has more control over the situation? The person who is steady, composed, and in command of their emotions. When you practice Stoic calmness, you shift the entire dynamic of the conversation. You set the tone instead of letting the chaos pull you in. A real-life example of Stoic calmness. Let's take a common situation: a disagreement at work. Your colleague insists on an approach that you strongly disagree with. You feel the urge to immediately push back, raise your voice, and assert your opinion forcefully. But stop for a moment. What would a Stoic do? Instead of reacting out of frustration, a Stoic would pause, observe, and respond with intention. They would take a deep breath, process the situation rationally, and calmly express their viewpoint without aggression. By staying centered, they create an environment where real dialogue can happen, leading to a productive resolution rather than unnecessary conflict. This ability to remain steady under pressure isn't about suppressing your emotions, it's about controlling how you express them. The more you practice, the easier it becomes to stay composed when tensions rise. Practical tips to cultivate stoic calmness in arguments. 1. Pause before reacting. Give yourself a few seconds to assess the situation before responding. Those few moments of reflection can make a huge difference. 2. Detach from ego. Arguments often escalate because of pride. Ask yourself, am I fighting for truth or just to be right? Let go of the need to prove your superiority. 3. Focus on what you can control. You can't control what the other person says, but you can control how you respond. Choose words that bring clarity, not confusion. 4. Practice deep breathing. In moments of tension, slow your breath to maintain composure. Controlled breathing sends a signal to your brain that you are safe, reducing anxiety and frustration. 5. Use thoughtful language. Instead of saying, "You're completely wrong," try, "I see where you're coming from, but I have a different perspective." Wording matters. It can build bridges instead of walls. Transition to the next section. Staying calm is just the beginning. Once you've mastered emotional control, the next step is knowing where to direct your focus in an argument. The Stoics believed in focusing only on what is within our control, which means understanding that some things are simply out of our hands. In the next section, we'll explore how shifting your mindset to focus on your own actions and responses can dramatically transform the way you handle conflicts. Number 2. Focus on what you can control, the Stoic strategy for handling conflict. Have you ever found yourself frustrated in an argument, wishing the other person would just see things your way? Maybe you've replayed the conversation in your head, thinking about what you could have said differently to convince them. If so, you're not alone. Most conflicts become more stressful when we focus on things outside our control, like changing someone's mind or fixing their attitude. But here's the truth, trying to control others is a losing battle. According to Stoic philosophy, the key to handling conflicts wisely is shifting your focus to what you can control, your own thoughts, words, and actions. You don't have power over how others react, but you do have power over how you respond. This shift in mindset not only reduces frustration but also makes interactions more productive and peaceful. The Stoic view on control. One of the core Stoic teachings is the dichotomy of control, a principle that separates the things we have influence over from those we don't. The ancient Stoic thinker Epictetus famously said, "Some things are up to us, and some things are not." It sounds simple, but understanding this deeply can transform how we approach arguments. Think of it like this. Things you can control: your tone, your words, your emotional state, your willingness to listen. Things you can't control: someone else's attitude, whether they agree with you, their past experiences, their emotional reactions. By focusing only on what is within your power, you remove unnecessary stress and avoid wasting energy on things beyond your reach. A story of control in conflict. Let's say you're discussing a sensitive topic with a friend, and they start raising their voice, dismissing your points. At this moment, frustration kicks in. You have two options. 1. You try to control them, telling them to calm down, forcing them to see your perspective, arguing louder. 2. You control yourself, keeping a steady tone, listening before responding, sticking to facts rather than emotions. Which response leads to a more productive outcome? The Stoic choice is clear. You control your side of the conversation, ensuring that you remain rational and calm regardless of their behavior. This doesn't mean you let people walk over you or avoid expressing your thoughts. It means you engage wisely, choosing responses that maintain your dignity and encourage mutual understanding instead of escalating conflict. Why this mindset reduces stress. Imagine carrying a heavy bag filled with things you can't control: other people's emotions, their opinions, the way they interpret your words. It's exhausting. But what if you put that bag down and only carried what was truly yours: your response, your clarity, your patience. You'd immediately feel lighter. When you stop demanding that others change and instead work on controlling your own actions, you free yourself from unnecessary anxiety. Instead of feeling defeated after an argument, you can walk away knowing you handled yourself with strength and wisdom. Practical Stoic techniques to apply in conflict. 1. Pause and reflect. When tensions rise, ask yourself, is this within my control? If not, let go of frustration and focus on what you can influence. 2. Accept differing perspectives. Not everyone will think like you. Instead of forcing agreement, aim for mutual respect. 3. Use deliberate language. Choose words that keep the conversation productive, avoiding phrases that provoke emotional reactions. 4. Detach from outcomes. Sometimes, even with a calm approach, the other person may stay upset. That's okay. Your goal isn't to force peace, but to maintain your own. 5. Lead by example. Your ability to stay composed might inspire the other person to do the same. When you stop reacting emotionally, the dynamic of the argument shifts. Transition to the next section. Once you focus on what you can control, arguments become less about proving a point and more about understanding and effective communication. The next step in handling conflict wisely is learning the art of listening, not just hearing words, but truly understanding the other person's perspective. In the next section, we'll explore how Stoic listening can turn disagreements into opportunities for growth. Number 3. Deep listening, a Stoic approach to understanding, not reacting. When was the last time you truly listened, not just hearing words, but fully absorbing the meaning behind them? In most arguments, people aren't listening to understand, they're listening to respond, waiting for their turn to speak, formulating counterarguments instead of engaging with the actual message. This is why so many conversations escalate into conflicts rather than lead to resolution. Why listening is a Stoic skill. The Stoics believed in maintaining control over emotions and focusing on wisdom rather than impulsiveness. One of the most overlooked aspects of emotional discipline is the ability to listen deeply. Epictetus, a renowned Stoic philosopher, famously said, "Nature gave us one tongue and two ears so that we could listen twice as much as we speak." Listening, true listening, is an act of patience, humility, and control. It prevents misunderstandings, diffuses tensions, and allows us to engage with others in a way that fosters mutual respect. When we listen not to prove a point, but to understand, conflicts transform into constructive conversations rather than battles of ego. The mistake of reactive listening. Think of a time when someone disagreed with you. Did you immediately prepare a defense in your mind? Were you waiting for a pause so you could jump in with a counterpoint? This is reactive listening, hearing words only to reject or refute them. Reactive listening often leads to frustration because it's rooted in pride, not wisdom. The Stoics remind us that the goal of dialogue is not victory, but clarity. When we let go of the need to win an argument, we open the door to actual understanding. A story of Stoic listening. Imagine a workplace disagreement. You pitch an idea, but your colleague dismisses it immediately. Instead of listening, frustration builds, you feel undervalued, unheard, and ready to argue back. Now, picture a Stoic approach. Instead of reacting, you pause and ask, "Could you help me understand your perspective?" This simple shift encourages the other person to share why they disagree, rather than just shutting down your idea. And as you listen, you might find common ground. Perhaps their concerns are valid, or maybe their point of view reveals a solution you hadn't considered. Deep listening turns opposition into cooperation. It makes discussions more productive because it removes ego-driven reactions from the equation. Practical Stoic techniques for deep listening. 1. Pause before responding. Before replying, take a breath. Ask yourself, am I responding thoughtfully, or just reacting? 2. Ask questions. Instead of assuming you understand the other person's perspective, seek clarity. Say things like, "Can you elaborate on that?" or "What do you mean by that?" 3. Silence can be powerful. Many people rush to fill silence, but the Stoics knew that sometimes listening without interruption allows deeper truths to surface. 4. Detach from your ego. If you feel defensive, remind yourself that the goal is understanding, not proving superiority. 5. Repeat key points. Show engagement by paraphrasing what the other person has said, reinforcing mutual comprehension. Transition to the next section. Once you master deep listening, conversations naturally shift toward resolution instead of argument. But listening is only half the equation. Next, we'll explore how asking the right questions can guide discussions toward clarity, rather than conflict. Number 4. The art of asking questions, a Stoic approach to clarity and resolution. Have you ever found yourself in an argument where both sides keep repeating their points, yet no real progress is made? Many conflicts escalate not because of disagreement itself, but because people fail to ask the right questions, the ones that encourage understanding instead of division. In Stoic philosophy, asking thoughtful questions is a powerful tool. It shifts the focus from winning a debate to clarifying perspectives, creating an opportunity for mutual respect and problem-solving instead of frustration. Instead of assuming you're right and the other person is wrong, a Stoic approach involves inquiring before reacting, using questions to open dialogue rather than shut it down. The Stoic perspective on asking questions. The Stoics believed that wisdom comes from seeking understanding, not forcing opinions. Epictetus, a former slave-turned-philosopher, taught that we should never assume we know everything about a situation. Instead, we should ask, listen, and reflect. A well-placed question encourages deeper thinking, avoids unnecessary hostility, and helps uncover what's truly at the heart of a disagreement. It also prevents misunderstandings that fuel tension. Imagine a heated debate where instead of responding with, "You're wrong," you ask, "Can you explain what led you to that conclusion?" This simple shift transforms the conversation from reactionary to reflective. A story of Stoic questioning in conflict. Consider a situation at work. A team member dismisses your idea in a meeting, claiming it won't work. Your instinct might be to push back immediately, proving why your suggestion is valid. But let's take a Stoic approach instead. Instead of jumping into defense mode, try asking, "What concerns do you have about this idea? Could you help me understand your perspective? Is there a part of my proposal you agree with?" These types of inquiry-based responses lower defensiveness, encourage the other person to share their reasoning, and open the door to finding common ground. Why asking questions helps de-escalate conflict. When you ask someone to explain their perspective, you're signaling respect for their thoughts, even if you disagree. This disarms hostility, making them less likely to react emotionally. Instead of creating opposition, you create curiosity, a far more constructive state of mind. Additionally, asking questions helps you control your own emotions. Instead of being swept up in frustration, you focus on information gathering, which aligns with Stoic values of logic over impulse. Practical Stoic techniques for asking better questions. 1. Seek clarification. Instead of assuming, ask, "What do you mean by that?" or "Can you give an example?" 2. Encourage open discussion. Use non-threatening phrasing like, "How do you see this situation?" 3. Reframe the issue. Turn emotional disputes into thoughtful analysis. What solution do you think would work best? 4. Focus on common ground. Instead of arguing details, ask, "What parts of my point do you agree with?" 5. Avoid leading questions. Don't frame questions in a way that pressures the other person to agree with you. Instead of, "Don't you see that I'm right?" ask, "How do you interpret this?" Transition to the next section. Once you begin asking questions with the intention of understanding, conversations feel less like battles and more like opportunities for connection. The next step is mastering how to use words wisely, choosing language that builds trust rather than fueling conflict. In the next section, we'll explore the power of thoughtful communication in Stoic philosophy. Number 5. The power of thoughtful words, a Stoic approach to communication. Have you ever said something in the heat of the moment, only to regret it later? Words have immense power. They can either build bridges or create barriers. Many conflicts escalate simply because people fail to choose their words wisely. That's where Stoicism comes in, offering a mindful approach to communication, one that promotes clarity, respect, and understanding rather than hostility. Why words matter in Stoic philosophy. The Stoics understood that language shapes reality. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic thinker, believed in the importance of measured speech, writing in his meditations, "Never be overheard complaining. Not even with your own thoughts." Stoicism teaches us that words shouldn't be used impulsively but deliberately. Harsh words fuel anger, while well-chosen words calm tensions and encourage connection. The way we frame our thoughts in conversation can determine whether a discussion leads to resolution or further conflict. A story of Stoic communication. Imagine you're in a disagreement with a friend. They misinterpret something you said and respond with frustration. Your instinct may be to defend yourself immediately or argue back, but a Stoic approach encourages a pause before responding. Instead of saying, "You're completely wrong," you might say, "I see your point, and I'd love to clarify my perspective." This small shift in word choice can prevent unnecessary escalation while allowing the conversation to move forward productively. How thoughtful language diffuses conflict. Words should invite discussion, not attack. If you respond to anger with more anger, the situation worsens. But a measured, respectful tone encourages rational dialogue. Instead of making personal judgments, a Stoic communicator focuses on ideas, facts, and solutions. A Stoic thinker doesn't manipulate, argue out of pride, or seek verbal dominance. Instead, they choose neutral, respectful language to maintain control over the conversation. Practical Stoic techniques for thoughtful speaking. 1. Pause before speaking. Take a breath before responding, ensuring that your words reflect wisdom rather than impulse. 2. Use neutral language. Avoid inflammatory phrases. Instead of saying, "You never listen," say, "Can we try to understand each other better?" 3. Speak with purpose. Make sure every word contributes to clarity, resolution, or mutual understanding. 4. Acknowledge without agreeing. You don't have to agree with someone to respect their viewpoint. Try saying, "I see where you're coming from, and here's my take on it." 5. Lead with empathy. Approach conversations with the intent to understand rather than to prove a point. Transition to the next section. Mastering thoughtful communication is a powerful step toward better conflict resolution. But words alone aren't enough. We also need to embrace acceptance, recognizing that not every conflict will have a perfect outcome. In the next section, we'll explore the Stoic mindset of accepting imperfection in disagreements. Number 6. Accepting imperfect outcomes, a Stoic perspective on letting go. Have you ever done everything in your power to resolve a conflict, only to feel disappointed when the outcome wasn't exactly what you wanted? Maybe you carefully chose your words, stayed calm, and approached the discussion with reason, but still, the other person remained upset or unwilling to compromise. In moments like these, frustration creeps in. You wonder what else you could have done, replaying the conversation in your mind. But what if you didn't have to feel disappointed at all? The Stoics teach us that we cannot, no matter how much effort we put in, control every outcome. And that's okay. Learning to accept imperfect results not only brings peace but also helps us focus our energy on the things that truly matter. The Stoic philosophy of acceptance. One of the most powerful ideas in Stoicism is the understanding that outcomes are not entirely within our control. Epictetus, a former slave-turned-philosopher, emphasized that while we can influence a situation, the final result often depends on factors beyond us, other people's emotions, external circumstances, and even pure chance. This concept can feel frustrating at first. After all, we want to believe that effort guarantees success. But life doesn't work that way, and believing that we can control everything leads only to stress. Stoicism teaches us that peace comes not from controlling outcomes, but from accepting that some things are simply outside our control. A story of Stoic acceptance. Imagine you're leading a project at work. You put in hours of preparation, organize every detail, and communicate clearly. But when it's time to present, things go wrong, technical issues arise, your team makes unexpected mistakes, and your manager doesn't respond positively. You did everything right, yet the result wasn't ideal. Now, you have two choices. 1. Stress over what went wrong, replaying every mistake and feeling frustrated that things didn't go as planned. 2. Accept the imperfections, acknowledge that external factors played a role, and focus on what you learned. A Stoic approach embraces the second option. You did your part, and that's what matters. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, once wrote, "Do not be disturbed by what is beyond your control." His words remind us that true success lies in how we handle challenges, not in forcing an outcome. Why letting go leads to freedom. When we accept that not everything will go our way, we free ourselves from unnecessary stress. Think of acceptance as a mental shield, protecting us from disappointment, frustration, and resentment. Instead of feeling defeated when things don't turn out perfectly, we can focus on what we can improve and move forward without emotional baggage.
Acceptance doesn't mean apathy or lack of effort. The Stoics never encouraged passivity, they believed in taking action but releasing attachment to results. You can work hard, strive for excellence, and still remain at peace regardless of the outcome. Practical Stoic techniques for accepting imperfections. 1. Recognize what's within your control. Before dwelling on an outcome, ask, did I do my part? If yes, let go of unnecessary worry. 2. Shift focus to growth. Instead of viewing imperfection as failure, see it as an opportunity for learning and improvement. 3. Avoid overthinking. If you catch yourself obsessing over results, remind yourself, the past cannot be changed. What matters is my response now. 4. Practice detachment from outcomes. The goal isn't to ignore success, but to avoid emotional dependence on results. 5. Remind yourself of bigger perspective. Will this imperfect situation matter in a year? 5 years? Most frustrations fade, and understanding this brings peace. Transition to the next section. Accepting imperfect outcomes allows us to move forward with clarity and wisdom. But even when we embrace imperfection, every experience still offers a valuable lesson. In the next section, we'll explore how Stoicism teaches us to learn from conflict, turning difficult conversations into opportunities for personal growth.
Number 7. Learning from conflict, a Stoic perspective on growth. Many people view arguments as competitions, someone wins, someone loses. But what if we shifted our mindset? What if, instead of seeing conflict as a battle, we saw it as an opportunity for growth? According to Stoic philosophy, every disagreement carries a lesson that can strengthen our wisdom, patience, and ability to navigate life with greater composure. The Stoic approach to conflict. Stoicism teaches that we cannot control external events, but we can control how we respond to them. This applies directly to arguments. Instead of focusing on proving a point or winning, the Stoic approach asks, what can I learn from this conversation? Did I remain calm and rational, or did I let emotions take over? How can I improve my communication for future discussions? The goal isn't victory, it's wisdom. Stoicism reminds us that true strength comes not from overpowering others in debate but from refining our own thoughts and behaviors. A story of Stoic reflection. Imagine a disagreement with a coworker. They reject your idea, and frustration rises. You respond defensively, pushing back with firm arguments. The discussion ends without resolution, leaving tension in the air. Now, consider a Stoic response. After the argument, instead of feeling resentful, you reflect. Why did I feel frustrated? Did I listen enough, or was I focused on being heard? Could I have phrased my point differently to encourage dialogue? This shift in thinking transforms arguments into learning experiences, helping you refine how you engage in discussions moving forward. How reflection strengthens future conversations. By analyzing how you handled an argument, you prepare yourself for future discussions. Maybe you realize that pausing before responding would have helped. Or perhaps you see that asking better questions could have led to a more productive outcome. Through reflection, each argument, whether major or minor, becomes a lesson in emotional control, communication, and patience. Instead of holding on to frustration, you grow stronger, more resilient, and more mindful. Practical Stoic techniques for learning from disagreements. 1. After a conflict, write down what went well and what could improve. 2. Ask yourself if emotion played too large a role in your response. 3. Consider what you learned about the other person's perspective. 4. If necessary, revisit the conversation with a clearer mindset to mend relationships. 5. Accept that disagreements are part of life. What matters is how you grow from them. Transition to the next section. Conflict teaches us valuable lessons, if we take the time to reflect. But personal growth doesn't stop here. The final step in Stoic conflict resolution is integrating these insights into daily life. In the next section, we'll explore how to make Stoic practice a daily habit, ensuring lasting wisdom and emotional resilience. Number 8. Practicing Stoic mindset daily, simple exercises for wisdom and calm. Stoicism isn't just a philosophy to read, it's a way of life meant to be practiced every single day. To truly embrace Stoic wisdom, we need to turn its principles into habits that shape how we react to situations, both big and small. The daily practice of Stoic thinking helps us stay calm in the face of challenges, make wiser decisions, and maintain a sense of inner peace. Why daily practice matters. The Stoics believe that wisdom and tranquility don't come naturally, they are cultivated through consistent action. Epictetus emphasized the importance of training your mind, likening it to preparing an athlete for competition. Just as physical strength is built with regular exercise, mental resilience and calmness are strengthened by practicing Stoic principles in everyday situations. Without daily practice, even the wisest ideas can slip away when stress or conflict arises. But by building Stoic habits, we train ourselves to respond thoughtfully rather than impulsively. Simple Stoic exercises for everyday life. Morning reflection. Start your day with a quiet moment of reflection. Ask yourself, what challenges might I face today, and how can I respond with patience and wisdom? What is truly within my control today? Writing these thoughts down can help reinforce your focus and set the tone for a balanced day. Practice gratitude. Stoics believed in appreciating what you have rather than longing for what you don't. Each morning or evening, list 3 things you're grateful for, whether it's relationships, opportunities, or even small moments of joy. Gratitude helps shift your mindset from scarcity to abundance. Pause before reacting. Throughout the day, practice pausing before responding to difficult situations. When someone says something frustrating, or when a setback occurs, take a deep breath and ask yourself, is this worth my emotional energy? What would a calm, wise response look like? This habit prevents emotional reactions and encourages thoughtful responses. Identify what's within your control. When facing a problem, write down 2 lists. What can I control? What's beyond my control? Focus your energy only on the first list. This exercise reinforces the Stoic principle of letting go of external factors and focusing on your own actions. Evening self-review. At the end of each day, review your actions and decisions. Ask yourself, did I remain calm during challenges? Did I act with integrity and wisdom? What could I improve tomorrow? This self-reflection is a cornerstone of Stoic practice, helping you learn from each day's experiences. Meditate on impermanence. Reflect on the fact that everything in life is temporary, both joys and hardships. This isn't meant to be pessimistic, instead, it's freeing. Remind yourself that setbacks won't last forever, and success isn't permanent either. This mindset encourages resilience and humility. Mindful observation. Pay attention to your surroundings without judgment. Whether you're walking, working, or spending time with loved ones, practice being present. The Stoics valued mindfulness as a way to connect with reality and avoid distraction. Repeat Stoic affirmations. Create simple affirmations based on Stoic teachings, such as I control my actions, not the actions of others. What matters is how I respond, not what happens. Calmness is my choice. Repeat these throughout the day to anchor yourself in Stoic values. A story of practicing Stoicism. Consider someone stuck in traffic on their way to an important meeting. Stress builds as they watch the minutes tick by, knowing they'll be late. Instead of reacting emotionally, honking, swearing, or blaming external factors, a Stoic pauses and asks, "Can I control the traffic? No. Can I control how I handle this situation? Absolutely." They use this moment to practice patience, breathe deeply, and plan how to communicate their delay calmly to the people at the meeting. Rather than letting frustration take over, they turn the setback into an opportunity to demonstrate resilience. The benefits of Stoic practice. By integrating Stoic exercises into your daily routine, you cultivate a mindset that doesn't just handle difficulties, it thrives through them. You train yourself to respond thoughtfully to challenges, appreciate the present, and focus on what truly matters. These habits build emotional resilience, mental clarity, and a deep sense of peace that helps you navigate life's ups and downs. Transition to the conclusion. Practicing Stoicism daily is a journey of growth, not perfection. Even small, consistent efforts can lead to profound changes in how you think, act, and live. In the conclusion, we'll explore how this philosophy, practiced over time, can help you cultivate lasting peace and wisdom in every aspect of your life. Conclusion. Throughout this video, we've explored the timeless wisdom of Stoic philosophy and its practical applications in conflict resolution. From staying calm during heated arguments to asking thoughtful questions and embracing imperfection, every step we've covered is designed to help you handle disagreements with clarity, control, and composure. Let's quickly recap the key takeaways. 1. Stay calm. Emotional outbursts only escalate conflict. Mastering your emotions helps you make rational decisions and sets the tone for productive discussions. 2. Focus on what you can control. You can't control other people's reactions, but you can control your own words and actions. This is the foundation of Stoic practice. 3. Listen deeply. True listening is about understanding, not simply reacting. It's one of the most effective ways to diffuse tension and build connection. 4. Ask thoughtful questions. The right questions clarify perspectives and encourage collaboration, rather than driving division. 5. Choose your words wisely. Respectful and deliberate language creates bridges, helping transform conflicts into opportunities for mutual respect. 6. Accept imperfection. Not every argument will end perfectly, but letting go of unrealistic expectations brings peace and strength. 7. Learn from conflict. Every disagreement is a chance to grow, refine your emotional control, and improve your communication. 8. Practice daily Stoicism. Integrating simple exercises like reflection, gratitude, and mindful observation helps you stay resilient and wise in all situations. Why this matters? The Stoic mindset isn't just a philosophy, it's a life-changing toolkit. By applying these principles, you'll discover how to handle challenges without losing your cool, turn conflicts into opportunities for growth, and maintain a sense of balance in even the most difficult situations. These lessons are not just theories, they're practical, actionable steps that you can start implementing today. Imagine navigating life's challenges with confidence and calmness, building stronger relationships, and living with greater clarity. That's the power of Stoicism. Now it's time to take this knowledge beyond the screen. Start small, reflect on a recent disagreement and apply one Stoic principle to handle a similar situation better next time. Or take a moment each morning to identify what's in your control for the day ahead. These practices are simple but incredibly powerful. If you found value in this video, I encourage you to become a part of our growing community. Hit the like button to support this channel, and subscribe to Stoic Share for weekly videos that bring Stoic wisdom into everyday life. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of Stoic philosophy. Let's continue this journey toward living with greater understanding, purpose, and calmness, one step at a time. See you in the next video.